What up, what up, what up, people? Tapping Ferdinand here. Ferdinand's over there laying down on the floor. Just went for a walk. Got him out for a little while. Went to the store real quick. Picked up a few things I needed. But today, I'm doing a special video that is very close to my heart. Because I was taught about this breed for a very long time, ever since I was a little boy. Tiny little boy. I'm 34 years old this year. And my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my great-uncle, my father, they all knew about this breed right here. They all talked about this breed. It's called the Bullenbeisser, which in German means Bullbiter. Okay, people? Everybody keeps talking about how, oh, we don't really know where the pit bull came from, but it was a bull baiting dog. Hello, people. What was the most famous bull baiting dog to ever exist? Right here, people. Right here. This is the dog that formed all these bully breeds. Matter of fact, they used to, back in the day, instead of the Y, it used to be spelled B-U-L-L-E. And then it went to B-U-L-L-E-Y, and then they dropped the E totally and just went with the Y. And this was in the early 90s. I remember them doing that. I remember an article coming out in the paper about it. How they think that that's where all the bully breeds, that's why they called them, that's why they put them in their own. It was like an article on why they put them into that category, because they were all from these livestock guardian bull herding breeds and pit fighting breeds, and from the Molosser. It all comes from the Holy Roman Empire, which I'm going to show you in this article. This is why I pulled this article up. So right here, the Bullenbeisser dog breed is now extinct, they say. But I'm going to tell you why it's extinct and why they claim it to be extinct. Because during World War I and World War II, we hated Germany so much that nobody wanted to admit that they put this German bulldog into their dog to make it more gamer and more tougher and more able to hunt and more able to deal with cattle and more able to be a butcher's dog. This is what they did. This is what my family told me. And they didn't understand why it was happening. Well, they understood it, but they, at the same time, they're like, why? Like all because of Hitler? You know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. It didn't to them either. And it was, you didn't want to be known as a fascist. You didn't want to be known as that back in those days. You didn't want to be, oh, you got a German bulldog, you're a fascist. It would be quick to be said, you know what I mean? The hate was so high in that time period. Okay, so Bullenbeisser, also known as the German Bulldog, was a breed of dog known for its strength and agility. The breed was closely related to the Boxer, 50%, they say. There were two regional varieties, the Brabanter Bullenbeisser and the Danziger Bullenbeisser, which I've been saying for the past how long. Brabanter was smaller, the Danziger was bigger. The Bullenbeisser became extinct by crossbreeding, which I've been saying. See, one of the only breeds to become extinct by crossbreeding rather than by a decadence of the Bullenbeisser dog breed, as happened with the old-time bulldog, for instance. Same thing happened to the old-time bulldog because it was closely related to the Bullenbeisser and it was more game, and everybody wanted them type of dogs in their type of dog. So we actually kind of stole these breeds. and bred them into our American dogs to make them more game and more tougher. If you really want to get down to brass tacks. And the size of the bull biters varied. Now listen to this. What's this remind you of? Listen to this closely. The size of the bull biters varied from about 40 to 70 centimeters by 1850. What's that remind you of right there? The American Bully a little bit? How we have different sizes? How we have a range of different sizes? We have a smaller, we have a bigger. And then there was also another breed that was called the Bullenbeisser, the bear biter, which was even bigger. And they say that's where the Great Dane bully breed came from. The smaller lived from what today is Netherlands and Belgium, which I've been saying, and the bigger in Germany. In the late 1870s, you hear this? The late 1870s, right when my great-grandfather was around with these dogs, telling my grandfather about them. That's weird. My great-uncle's telling my grandfather about them. My grandpa Francis, and how he learned about them. German breeders Robert Koenig and Hopner used the dog to create a new breed, today called the Boxer, and was also bred into many other breeds. They should have added that right there, because everybody wanted that blood, dude. Because they heard, oh, they're making a new fighting dog called the Boxer, hence why they named it the Boxer, because boxing and dog fighting were very, very close back in the day. Hence why it's in that movie. It's a dog's life. You know, they don't listen, they don't do research, they don't read, you know, and I'm sorry, yes, there is good literature out there, but these guys are going off of books that were written in the 70s and in the 80s. Yes, those are still good, but there's newer information every day. We keep finding more articles and more things, and people research more and more every single day, so there's new stuff that comes into play every day. I learn something new about these dogs every single day, dude. I'm learning. I continue to learn something new. When I saw this article, though, it was like, it was too much. Everything was calling out to me. So they used the Bullenbeisser to create the breed we today call the Boxer. They say, some people say it's up to 50% is in these dogs, the Bullenbeisser. And look at the Boxer and look what it looks like. Some people still today, if they cut their ears, mix them up with pit bulls. So now, you gotta really know your dogs, especially bully breeds, to have a keen eye for it and to really be able to tell. Some 30 Bullenbeissers were already crossed by the Boxer Kennel Club of Germany at 1900. In with bulldogs brought from the British Isles. They were still kind of lingering, though. There was still some lingering at this time, you know. Like I said, look, right here. You know, this was handed down, bro. You know what I'm saying? This was handed down to me. You know what I'm saying? You see this shit? You see this shit? Hand me down. You feel me? 4 generations, buddy. 4 generations. So, you seen that brindle, right? You seen that black and white, right? Yeah, So, the blood composition was 50-50 at that time, see? Just like I said. However, the German owners started crossing their dogs with all kinds of bulldogs and boxers. You hear this? that's how the pit bull was kind of created, because they started mixing everything, which produced in people say it was before that, but what they're thinking about is the earlier Scott type American bulldogs, which, where they come from? You want to know originally where they came from? The Germans. The Germans were one of the first peoples here. You don't think they brought their dogs here? They were one of the first peoples to come to America in the early 1600s, because they were so tough and they knew how to hunt boar and bear and buffalo, and they knew how to hunt very well, and they had the best hunting dogs. Research. It's there. It's in the movie The Revenant. A lot of those guys were German. A lot of those guys were French Canadian. My family, French Canadian. So my family remembers this shit. Way back then when they used to hunt the buffalo. What dogs do you think they used? They had to use the toughest of the toughest dogs. The Bullenbeisser, the German Bullenbeisser. Those were the dogs that were taking down these buffalo. You could ask any of these guys. Any of these old, even Schoolboy. And I don't like to name drop. Got on a comment and said, yo, these guys don't like to listen to the truth. He even said it. They just don't even want to hear it. But that's where all these great dogs came from. This dog right here, bro. And before the Bullenbeisser, right before that, which it's going to tell you in this article, was the Molosser that came from the Holy Roman era. So it's going to tell you in this article later on, watch. However, the German owners started crossing up to all other bulldogs up, which produced an undistinguishable breed after the World War II. One reason why such quantity of German blood was used to create the boxer dog was the wish to eliminate the excessive white color of the breed and the necessity of producing thousands of dogs for one of the most popular breeds in the world. The Bullenbeisser specialized in bull baiting and boar hunting. The Bullenbeisser was a Molosser type breed dog that was native to Germany in the Low Countries, also known as the Bullenbeisser, Bullenbeisser, German Mastiff, and German Bulldog. The Bullenbeisser was relatively common throughout the lands of the Holy Roman Empire for a number of centuries, but became extinct in the early 1900s. At one point, there were many distinct localized variety of Bullenbeisser, of which the smallest, known as the Brabanter, was the best known. The Bullenbeisser is most famous for the key role it played in the development of the Boxer, one of the most popular dog breeds in the world. Not much is known for sure about the early history of the Bullenbeisser, but the breed had a very long history in the lands of the Holy Roman Empire, a conglomeration of thousands of different political bodies, which once covered all or part of modern-day Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany, France, Italy, Slovenia, Poland, Austria, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic. The Bullenbeisser breed was primarily kept by the Germans, Dutch, Flemish, and Frisians, speakers of very close related languages that until recent centuries were all considered to be one people. The Bullenbeisser was originally a type of Mastiff introduced into German-speaking lands from France, Italy, England, or possibly the Roman Empire that preceded them. Although every member of the family is different, most Mastiffs are typified by large or massive size, a pushed-in head, and strong protective instinct. It is unclear exactly when Mastiffs were first introduced to Germany, but it was almost certainly during either the late Roman period or the Dark Ages. Initially, the German Mastiffs were identical to other dogs of their type. Over the centuries, they became different as a result of differing local breeding preferences. You hear that? So, they're all from the same breed. They all have that gameness in them. They all have that old blood in them. That's what people don't understand. You just have to bring it back out of them through breeding and training and working your dog. It's not hard, people. It's not hard. In most of Western Europe, Mastiffs were primarily used as beasts of war and property guardians. Such dogs were commonly tied to a chain for their entire lives. Do you hear this, people? Does that sound like a dog we know? Or does it not? Does it not? Oh, but we don't know where the pit bull came from. It came from the Holy Roman Empire, people. And they just don't want to admit that. So such dogs were commonly tied to a chain for their entire lives, or at least during the days. These beasts became monstrous in size and immensely powerful, but also became lazy and non-athletic. By contrast, the Germans greatly preferred to use their mastiffs for hunting. They were smart because it kept them more fit. These were the only dogs that possessed the power, ferocity, and intelligence to hunt the largest and most dangerous prey found in Europe: the boar, bear, and wolf. German farmers also discovered that these dogs were both fast enough to catch a recalcitrant bull or hog, and powerful enough to hold it in place until they could capture or kill it. As a result of being used for more physically demanding purposes, the German Mastiffs became less bulky than similar breeds, but more athletic, energetic, physically capable, and driven. And we don't know where the pit bull came, but yet people don't know where the pit bull came from. I'm so glad I was taught this, man. I'm so glad my father taught me this, and my grandfather, and my great uncle, and they passed it down, because otherwise we wouldn't know any of this. For much of the Bullenbeisser's existence, the Holy Roman Empire was composed of hundreds of independent states. And you really want to know the crazy... I'm going to stop right here for a second. But you really want to know the crazy part about this? I knew all this before I found this article. So I was saying all this stuff before I even found this article. So my family told me all this about these dogs before I even found this article. Tell me that. That's crazy. That's why people gotta listen to their elders, man. So for much of the Bullenbeisser's existence, the Holy Roman Empire was composed of hundreds of independent states, ranging in size from a small town to the nation of Austria. Each of these states was governed in a different manner. Some were democratic, others were duchies, and some were even controlled directly by the Roman Catholic Church. No matter the type, the ruling classes of many of these political bodies kept kennels of Bullenbeissers for hunting and combat. And farmers and butchers across the empire did as well, although usually for livestock catching. As a result of and we don't know where these dogs came from. As a result of this political and geographic division, many different localized versions of the Bullenbeisser were developed. One such variety was the Brabanter, named for its homeland of the Duchy of Brabant, divided between modern-day Belgium and the Netherlands. The Brabanter was very similar to other Bullenbeissers, but was considerably smaller than most others. Sound like a dog we know, maybe the pocket bully? Beginning in the late 1500s, the Dutch provinces became a major seafaring power. Bullenbeissers accompanied Dutch sailors and settlers across the world. In 1652, Jan van Riebeck brought a bullbiter with him when he founded Kaapstad, Cape Town. Look at this. This is where they went into Africa. 1652. He brought a bullbiter to Cape Town, South Africa, the first permanent European settlement in what is now South Africa. Do you see this? This is where the Boer Bowl came from, people. This is where your Boer Bowl came from in Africa. The Bullenbeisser. Look it up, people. It's not my words. It's right here. Even though it is my words, because I knew all this before I even looked at this fucking article. After which a number of other Bullenbeissers were imported to the Cape Colony, where the breed had a major impact on the development of the Rhodesian Ridgeback and the Boer Bull. See what I'm saying? It is commonly theorized that the Bullenbeisser and the English Bulldog were occasionally crossed throughout history and influenced the development of one another, because they were so close and so related and so good and strong and amazing. You hear my boy right here? You hear my big motherfucking boy right here? 52 pounds, weighed him yesterday. Perfect size, bro. Perfect size. Some modern dog breeds. Ooh, bird. Come on, man. There it is. Some modern dog breeds. Sorry about that, people. Some modern dog breeds have a close connection to the Bullenbeisser. The Boxer, a 70% Bullenbeisser and 30% English Bulldog mix. Wow, it's 70%. That's insane. The Great Dane, which can trace roughly half of its ancestry to that breed, and the Boer Bull and Rhodesian Ridgeback, that were partially descended from Bullenbeissers brought to South Africa with Dutch colonists. The Banter Bulldoggies, created in the 1990s by Todd Tripp of Southeast Ohio, is also commonly cited to be a good modern recreation of the Bullenbeisser. Additionally, many authorities on the subject feel that the present Spanish Bulldog, or Alano Espanol, and very similar Dogo Argentino provide a nearly identical modern representation of the Bullenbeisser dog breed. You hear that? Dogo Argentino, one of the beastiest dogs out there. One of the beastiest bullies out there. My man was just talking about them today. MOAB there, master of all bulldog or bullshit or whatever you want to call him. But no hate, really, no hate. I'm just saying, you got to do your research too, though, bro. You know what I mean? These all come from one great dog breed, and it's the Bullenbeisser. It's the Molosser, baby. It's that old school. If it never would have went through German's hands and those forests and fought those bears and fought those bulls and fought those boars and those wolves and they fought them and made them so tough, they would have never been as tough. They would have never made it to South Africa. They would have never made it to America. It would have never happened. So that's why everybody needs to understand, these dogs all come from somewhere. Trace them back. Find out where they come from. I just happen to go all the way back. And I want to bring back this breed right here, this Bullenbeisser, the true Bullenbeisser. But apparently it's somewhere in between a Dogo and a Spanish Bulldog. So if we can try and maybe, like I said, I want to take this dog now and breed him to a Dogo. Just because from what I saw, they were a little more Bulldog. Some of them were a little more Bulldog. if you looked at the ones I was showing you before, these were more Bullenbeisser, more Mastiff. They were more stocky, more bulldogish, so they could hold stuff down. So they had that weight on them, 100, 120 pounds, perfect catch weight. You know what I'm saying? Bullenbeisser is an extinct dog breed. Here are some videos of Alano Espanol, which looks exactly like the Bullenbeisser. And if you had a smaller one, your height would dictate your weight. So if you had a smaller one, it would be 50 pounds, right? If you had an 18-inch dog, it would be 50 pounds, because an 18-inch dog at 50 pounds is pretty much perfect, structure-wise. So your height would dictate your weight. You know, you can't go too heavy on some of these dogs because they'll get out of shape. They won't function right. So that was the article that I wanted to read to y'all folks, just to let you know where I'm coming from when I tell you that the pit bull, the bully, the American bulldog, the English bulldog, the dogo, whatever breed you wanna, oh, this is the best breed, this is, oh no, these will kick your head, this. Well, how about the dog that they all came from? The original. The one to make them all great. The Bullenbeisser. What about that dog? Can we get that one back? Can we start breeding for that type of temperament? Because at one point I read an article of a guy talking about him in the 1850s or 60s, if I remember correctly, that was saying it was the greatest breed of all time. That's how the guy felt. He said, I feel this is the greatest breed of all time. This is the greatest hunting dog breed of all time. It has to be. That's what they thought about him. So, and in my personal opinion, they took all the great hunting dog breeds that were great hunters, and on the bully side, kinda, and they blended them together. I even think they took the American Bloodhound at one point and threw him into the pit bull, and that's why you have that reddish brownish color in there, and that's why they have a good nose on them. Sometimes you could find pit bulls with a good scent on them, good nose, and they can find bombs and shit. And don't tell me you can't, because there's a guy right now on YouTube that works for the military that said he had dogs that could sniff out bombs and guns and drugs and shit like that, and it was a full-blooded American Pit Bull Terrier. So we got to remember, you know, all these dogs are mixed. Did you not hear this article where they said they took the Bullenbeisser? It literally went extinct because it was crossed so much. Do you understand that? The implications of that? They literally took out a breed from crossing it. That's insanity. Because so many people wanted it, because it was such good blood. Like they said, it's only been done a few other times, or one other time with the old time bulldog, and they said that was closely related.